Hey guys, hope you guys are super well. Just wanted to share with you guys a lesson that I learned from my grandmother after she passed away. She passed away this past January, so right about 2 months ago. Um, and at the age of 83, she was very healthy, but obviously type 2 diabetes and stuff like that kind of caught up to her. But everybody has in the world has a unique family, and I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of my family dynamic and kind of what I learned through this experience. It's not something that I've seen necessarily out there, but I know some people can kind of relate in the experience and go through the experience as well. And so, my grandmother and my grandfather had 5 kids, right? My dad is the third, so there's 3 boys up top. My dad is the third one, and then 2 daughters at the bottom. So my aunts and 2 uncles and my dad, right? And my grandma wasn't the most grandmotherly person. She wasn't the most loving and caring type of mom, type of grandmom. And the reason for that is, as I gotten to know her, she always wanted to be a celebrity. She wanted to be a star, but she got married early and had 5 kids. And so she was always tied down, but she would just do the bare minimum, right? She would just have the kids, make breakfast and do the basic things and just run off, and eventually got into some gambling habits. And my grandfather wasn't the most happiest person with that, but she just wanted to be a star. She missed out on kind of like that opportunity, that childhood, that side. As a result, she just try to balance family and being a star, and she never achieved any stardom. And my grandfather unfortunately passed away early, back in 2001 or 2000. And what that basically resulted in was, my dad and my uncles and my aunts basically splitting apart. They were never really close. And many many years later, my 2 aunts and my dad came to the U.S. and we were able to establish our roots here. But the 2 uncles up top, one in California, basically communication died. We never really hear from him ever again, even up until now. And the oldest, my uncle, became extremely wealthy. There's a very well-known car manufacturer around the world. Everybody knows this company, and he became a chairman of that company, and basically just a shot caller within Korea of that automotive manufacturer company. And so, it's the highest position you can achieve, in a company structure. So he became very wealthy. Now, as a result of him chasing that level of success, it came at the sacrifice of family. And in Korean family culture at that point was, if you don't come from money, you can't really marry somebody with money, or you can't really have a high status if you come from a poverty-stricken background. There wasn't this hype of like self-made, as there is today, in Korea. And even still, like, the family status kind of matters. And so he kind of forsaken the family aspect, his parents, grandmother, grandfather, and us, etc. As a result, he was able to focus on his career, achieve a lot of success, and have a family. But the time came when my grandmother passed away that he came, and I could tell he was filled with regrets that he didn't do right as a duty to, as a son to his mom, that he never really visited her, that he never really taken care of her, and he left that responsibility to my dad and the aunts. And my dad, right, he was just more of kind of down to earth guy, right? He's more chill. He's not that ambitious. He just wants to do the bare minimum. But with that, he was able to have a good family life, which he has a good relationship with me and my brother, and good family dynamic, etc. And so it's kind of the other end of the spectrum. My dad, who didn't achieve a lot of success, but has a very good, healthy family dynamic and has a lot of happiness there, versus my uncle, who achieved a lot of like exterior success and admiration of the whole country and the world, and stuff like that, but doesn't have the best family life, and has lived and is living a life of regrets. And so the lesson that I learned from this is that family is happiness. You know, you can chase all the money and all the status in the world, but you know, if you don't have family, you know, what do you really have? And obviously this is a popular saying, but it goes in depths, and I want to share with you the depths that I have experienced. I personally, when I was growing up, I wanted the perfect family. And even me, I was like, man, imagine if I was born into my uncle's household, right? I would have all the money, I would have all the success, and I'd be such a successful person. And my cousins, in many aspects, are successful, right, exteriorly, but even I can tell, having had a conversation with them, an in-depth conversation with them, they're not truly happy. And I've asked them like these direct questions. They're not truly happy, and I can sense this. And my uncle's not truly happy as well. But like, why is that? You know, they have all the money, they have a family of their own, but why aren't they happy? And I remember having a conversation with my cousin, and you know, obviously it was in my house here, and it was my aunt's family, and here us, and we were just kind of like laughing, having fun, enjoying each other's companies, and having that like traditional, like if you think about Christmas, like television movie Christmas family type of atmosphere, it was that kind of atmosphere. And my cousin was like, do you guys how often do you guys meet? And I was like, oh, maybe like once every couple months, right? For particular occasions, birthdays, you know, whatever. And this is usually how it is. And he's like, oh, wow, really? And I was like, and I asked him, I was like, cool, like, you know, what did you guys do for Christmas? Like, do you guys like meet and hang around? And he's like, no. Each of us just kind of like stayed with our own families. Right? My cousin with his wife and his kid, my second cousin with his wife, his kids, and my uncle and aunt, the successful ones by themselves. And I found that to be very strange, right? They live pretty close. They have all the money in the world, but they don't have a good family dynamic. And obviously, from when I kind of put myself in my uncle's shoes, my uncle essentially discarded his parents, right, and his siblings to pursue success, because that's what he believed that he needed to do, which I admire. But what that resulted in was that level of knowledge of family relationship being transferred to his family. And when that transferred to his family, it created a very unhappy family, a big family. There's a lot of respects, right? Because you had that status of having achieved a high status and high levels exteriorly, but interiorly, you're just very unhappy. And I was able to kind of see that unfold in front of me as I had my parents, our family dynamic, my uncle, their family dynamic, and it was a clear night and day difference. But two things. Like I said, family is happiness, right? You could have all the money, but if you don't have the best family culture, best family conversation, the best family imperfections, it doesn't really matter, right? And when I say imperfections, I'm not saying everybody has to be perfect. Everybody has to be this most loving, caring person, each single member in the family, for it to be perfect, for it to be a good family. Imperfections like this, like even my family is perfect, even though it's imperfect, right? Even though I never really got to experience what it's like to have a large family gathering, I've got to experience a small one, and even that is perfect. And I've learned to appreciate the imperfections within the family. And a healthy family is a family with imperfections. A healthy family is a family that's not all put together. A healthy family is a family that, fights occasionally and they get into arguments, but, eventually they come back together purely because of the love that they have of the relationship called family, right? They don't necessarily have to love the person. Like if in the civilian world, if you're working with a coworker and you don't like them, you don't have to really ever, work with them ever again. You could just quit the job, but you can't really do that with family, right? You have an until the end of days. You have this relationship that's there called family, and so it's understanding family is happiness and imperfection is perfection, and living a life of happiness is greater than living a life in pursuit of money. And my family, my parents are 63, and they're old, right? I can visibly see it. When I joined the military, I was 22, and my parents were 54 at the time. They were still vibrant, they were still healthy. And 8 years later, now they're 63. And they're not as, sharp as I used that I remember. They're not as, thick, right? Because they gotten a lot thinner. As you think about like older people, they're pretty thin. They gotten a lot thinner. They got a lot more wrinkly, and they got a lot more white hairs. They got a lot more weaker than I remember them to be. And for many, many years, right, my whole 20s was spent on just focusing on money, right, building businesses, and chasing that success. And as a result, I was able to buy them a house, and we live happily. And I can continue that life, right? I have companies that I've worked with in the past reaching out to me saying like, let's create another 7-figure business. Let's do more bigger projects together. And I'm turning it all down. And I'm living this life of almost obscurity, just living at my bare minimum, just doing my own thing. But I'm enjoying my time with my parents the most right now. Because right now I'm at the stage where, when you grow up, like they're your parents, like you're young and they're your parents. But I'm at the stage right now where we're basically friends. And I'm enjoying my friendship with my parents. And I know it's not going to last long. Because, another 7 year goes by, they're 70. And who knows what will happen. But, they're going to be a lot more older. And there's a part of me that still wants to pursue money so I can provide the best life for them. But from my experience of, having built 7-figure companies, when you pursue money, just absolutely the act of pursuing money, there's a level of sacrifice that comes accordingly. It's very, very hard to do both. It's very, very hard to do everything correctly, to have your health at its peak, to have your money at its peak, to have your family dynamic at its peak. There's always a trade-off. Having invested $150K into different coaches and mentors, there is not a single person that has it all together. There's not a single person that I've ever met that has it all together. And I guess this is the fun aspect of life, right? It's like trying to balance it all out, trying to figure it all out. But the thing that I'm learning in this process, and that I hope that I can share with you guys, is, and that's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. Imperfection is perfection within that family dynamic. It's okay if you, like for me, I'm detaching myself from wanting to achieve success. I'm detaching myself even from my parents, because the only reason why I got into business was to be able to help my parents. It's not the person that I am. It's the product that I've created. It's the person that I've become. it's through this experience of like my grandmother passing away and understanding family, the value of it, it's like it's crazy. Like I understand the value of family. I'm closer to my parents than ever before, but at the same time, it's like a duality. I'm closest at the same time. I'm detaching so I can have my own identity, and balancing that to be able to have my own identity and achieve a level of success within my own identity. Um, it's a very very hard balance, and it's something that I'm learning right now that I hope can resonate with some of you guys. So um, hope that insight was helpful to you guys, and see you soon. Peace.